3 bone-chilling true stories of being watched. You won't feel safe again. It was a night like no other. The wind howled through the empty streets, carrying with it a chilling whisper that felt all too close. A figure lurked between shadows, its eyes seeming to pierce the darkness, watching, waiting. You could feel it. That eerie sensation creeping up your spine, a cold finger of fear wrapping tightly around your throat. Something was definitely off. This is just the beginning. Claire had always felt safe in her small town. The kind of place where everyone knew each other, where doors were left unlocked and kids played outside long past sunset. But on that fateful evening, she noticed something strange. As she walked home from the diner, the air turned heavy with an unshakable dread. She glanced over her shoulder. Was someone truly following her? The sound of footsteps echoed behind her, rhythmic and deliberate, yet when she turned, there was no one there, just that ominous silence that filled her heart with terror. Suddenly, Claire's phone buzzed violently in her pocket, causing her to jump, her heart racing in her chest like a caged animal. The message read, "I see you." Panic surged through her. Who was it? Why were they watching her? She hurried her pace, a knot forming in her stomach. The streetlights flickered as if taunting her, reminding her that her sense of safety was merely an illusion. As she reached her front porch, Claire's hands trembled while fumbling with the keys. Her mind raced, replaying every moment, every glance over her shoulder. Could it have just been her imagination? No, the feeling was too real, too visceral. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Just as she finally unlocked the door, a piercing scream shattered the silence. It wasn't her own voice but came from somewhere deep within the night. The sound prickled the hairs on her neck, sending adrenaline coursing through her veins. Claire could barely breathe. Then, from the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse. A dark figure darted behind a tree, just out of sight. Was someone really out there? The weight of dread pressed down harder, making it hard to think straight. She slammed the door shut, locking it tight, but that wasn't enough to ease the growing terror inside. Why was someone watching her? Who was behind it? The questions swirled, unanswered. This was just one story, one chilling example of something lurking in the shadows. But what else was out there ready to plunge into the daylight? Claire's heart pounded in her chest as she pressed her back against the cold, solid wood of her door. The scream still echoed in her ears, adding fuel to the fire of anxiety roaring within her. She held her breath, straining to hear anything beyond her own frantic thoughts. Was it just the wind? Or a victim in distress? With trembling fingers, she fumbled for her phone, desperate to call for help, but her hands felt clumsy, like they were weighed down by lead. The screen lit up again with another message, a cruel reminder of her vulnerability. The words blurred together as her vision swam in fear. "I'm closer than you think." Instinct kicked in. Claire rushed to the window and peered through the tattered curtains, scanning the darkness for any signs of movement. The street seemed almost lifeless, the streetlights casting sullen pools of light, revealing nothing but her own shadow, distorted and elongated. Yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that eyes were on her, waiting, calculating. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. Each second felt like an eternity, and her mind spiraled into wild thoughts. What if they came for her? What if she was next? She recalled stories whispered in the hallways, tales of missing persons that never made it back home. Suddenly, a loud bang shattered the stillness, rattling her nerves. It came from the back of the house. Claire's heart dropped as the sound echoed through her bones. Fear pinned her to the spot. Should she hide? Should she run? Her instinct told her to hide. She darted away from the window and ducked behind the couch, her breath short and shallow. From her low vantage point, the world felt distorted, as if she were peering through a warped lens. Every sound was magnified: the creak of the floorboards, the wind clawing at the shingles. Time stretched, unbearable. Then, she heard it. The unmistakable scrape of footsteps against the gravel of her driveway. 1, 2, 3 steps. Footfalls that echoed with intent. Claire bit her lip to stifle a whimper. They were there right outside. Just as her mind conjured a dozen awful scenarios, a voice broke through the tension. "Claire. Are you home?" The sound was like ice water tossed over her fear. It was Alex, her neighbor, someone she could trust. With a mix of relief and residual terror, she slipped from her hiding place, grabbing a kitchen knife on her way to the door. "Claire?" Alex called again, more urgent this time. She flung the door open, ready to find comfort in a familiar face. But when she looked out, she saw nothing. The porch light flickered ominously, illuminating the stillness around her, yet Alex stood just out of sight around the corner. "Alex!" she called, fear creeping back into her voice. "Where are you?" "Over here." His voice was strained. Unease washed over her as she stepped outside, the chill of the night biting against her skin. Each step felt like walking deeper into a trap. As she rounded the corner, Claire's breath caught in her throat. There, in the shadows, stood Alex, his face twisted in fear, his eyes wide as he looked past her. "Claire, don't turn around!" A chill gripped her heart. Something was behind her, something dreadful. The figure she'd seen earlier was now standing at her back, the darkness swallowing its form, but she could feel it, the weight of its gaze. Claire's heart raced as she instinctively gripped the knife tighter, her knuckles white. Who was watching her now? A twist of terror unfurled within her. The shadow was closing in, and she could hear the faint whisper of footsteps returning. As she took a staggering step back, she could feel the truth lurking just beyond the veil of darkness. She had to know. What was hiding in the shadows? The answer loomed closer, and the night was just beginning. The air felt electric, charged with tension as Claire's gaze darted between Alex and the encroaching darkness just behind her. The grip on her knife tightened, her knuckles paling as adrenaline coursed through her veins. The shadow, hidden just at the edge of her sight, seemed to pulse with an unholy desire, an entity that craved her fear. "Claire, get inside. Now!" Alex shouted, his voice a fierce whisper that cut through her daze. But her legs felt glued, tension rooting her to the spot. Should she trust him? Should she run? "Why, what's behind me?" she managed to stammer, voice quivering with adrenaline and dread. Instead of answering, Alex's eyes widened further, filled with urgency, panic warring with his protective instincts. "You don't want to see it. Just move." Before she could process his words, the shadows shifted. That flicker broke through the dark like the whisper of a ghost, and Claire felt the weight of the presence grow heavier. The footsteps escalated into an all-consuming rush, echoing in her ears like a taunt, daring her to turn. She had to know. With a swift movement, Claire spun around. The darkness was impenetrable, but in that moment, a flash caught her eye, a glimmer of something sharp. It was there, just outside the glow of the porch light. A figure stood, still and silent, wearing a mask that reflected the glint of light. Its eyes glittered with twisted amusement. It was as if the very shadows had given shape to her deepest fears. "Sick game you're playing. You think this is funny?" she shouted into the night, surprised by the strength in her own voice despite the ice coursing through her body. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it slowly raised a hand, pointing directly at Claire, as if claiming her. A laugh echoed from somewhere deep below the surface, filling the air with an unnatural chill that sent shivers racing down her spine. "Claire!" Alex's voice broke through the haze of fear. We need to go. Now. Adrenaline shot through her limbs. In a heartbeat, she stumbled back, retreating further into the light of the porch, but the shadow remained. Was it a figment of her terror, or had something truly sinister settled in her life? Drawing a deep breath, grounding herself, she shot Alex a desperate look. What do we do? Get into my house. He took a step forward, but as if summoned, the figure shifted along with him. Incalculated, it seemed to shift spaces, its dark outline flickering between the beams of light. Suddenly, the silence dissolved into a cacophony of noises, clatter from the street, the rustling of two worlds colliding. Claire turned her head slightly, glancing back at Alex only to see him swinging an arm as if to shield her. In the blink of an eye, the shadow lunged, swiping through the air, reeking of cold dread, slicing through her reality. Alex! Claire screamed, the knife slipping from her grasp. But as she reached for him, the shadows thickened around her. Everything went dark. The stifling silence swallowed her whole, leaving nothing but a dreadful sense of isolation. Just when Claire thought hope had vanished, a flicker of light pierced through the gloom, a flash from her phone, illuminating her trembling hands. Find me. The message flashed again, a cruel beckoning wrapped in the darkness. It was a challenge, a mocking lure inviting her deeper into the unknown. What had she awakened? Was it truly just a shadow that wanted to claim her, or something far more sinister? The night continued to stretch, its secrets tantalizingly close but forever just out of reach. Claire's breath quickened as she pondered her next move. Time was slipping away. Would they be able to face what lurked beneath? The haunting question lingered as she stepped back from the edge of sanity, her next decision hanging in the balance. Where would the path of this dark night lead them? Claire's heart raced in the oppressive darkness, the pulse of fear thundering in her ears. The message on her phone flickered again, casting an eerie glow on her face as the chilling words echoed in her mind. Find me. It was a command, not a plea. Whoever or whatever had sent it was watching. She tightened her grip on the phone, the light feeling like a futile shield against the encroaching terror. She had no choice but to move, but where? The question clawed at her mind as shadows shifted restlessly around her, each creak of the house amplifying her anxiety. Claire. Alex's voice broke through the void that surrounded her, and though she couldn't see him, his urgency sliced through the fog of fear. I'm coming to you. A sudden burst of courage filled her, and she took a hesitant step forward. The door to Alex's house stood ajar, a jagged outline in the thick darkness. Could she trust the safety it promised? The pull of the unknown in the shadows felt almost magnetic, coaxing her to explore the sinister depths instead. Don't move. She called, her voice shaking. Stay put, Claire. You don't understand what we're up against. Alex shouted, his tone a desperate mix of fear and resolve. The ground felt uneven beneath her feet, every sense heightened as the air thickened with tension. Claire took a deep breath, forcing her legs to move toward the open door. But the instant she stepped away from the dim light, dread washed over her. Something was wrong, something shifted behind her, dark and menacing, the very embodiment of her nightmares. She looked back, and the figure stood closer now, closer than before, its mask reflecting her own fear. A twisted laugh echoed through the air, chilling her bones and freezing time in a cruel dance of horror. Claire, hurry. Alex's voice was almost a whisper now, growing more distant. She felt the pull of the darkness, a silent invitation to surrender. But something inside her ignited, a fire that countered the freezing chill creeping in. She surged forward, sprinting into the safety of Alex's house. The door slammed shut with a resounding thud that silenced the laughter outside, but she knew it was temporary. Alex. She panted, instinctually looking for him. What do we do? He stood near the kitchen, the moonlight casting stark shadows on his face. His eyes were steely, determined. We have to confront it. We can't hide. This thing, it doesn't just want you, it wants us both. Horror pooled in her stomach. Both? Before Alex could answer, they heard a bone-chilling thud against the door, the sound reverberating through the house like a war drum. The walls seemed to vibrate with the dread that hung thick in the air. "Go to the basement," he commanded. "We need to find out what it wants." The basement? Panic clawed at her throat, but there was no time to question. Adrenaline propelled her forward. As they dashed down the dark staircase, the chill of the basement air enveloped them. She felt the weight of darkness pressing in, heavy and suffocating. Flickering lights from her phone cast ghostly figures across the damp walls. A sense of suffocation gripped her. What kind of nightmare had they stumbled into? What if it's just darkness? Claire whispered, the words escaping her trembling lips, a desperate attempt to make sense of the chaos. "It's not just darkness," Alex replied, his voice a firm anchor in the tumult. "It's part of something bigger." The basement felt alive, pulsing with the seconds ticking away and shadows dancing at the periphery of her vision. Suddenly, the phone flashed a new message, illuminating the space with a warning so chilling it could have been carved from ice. "You can't escape me." Claire's hands went numb as the shadows around them began to swirl, taking shape, stretching out towards them like fingers reaching for a final embrace. The realization struck her like a slap: there was no escaping this darkness. They were spiraling deeper into the very heart of the terror. Could Claire summon the strength to confront the monster lurking in the dark? Or would she succumb to the madness waiting just beyond the edge of her vision? The air hung thick with unanswered questions, fear woven into the fabric of their reality. And as the lights flickered once more, she knew whatever lay ahead would test every ounce of courage, appending everything she thought she knew what waited in the shadowy depths of the basement. A fate far darker than she could imagine. The shadows pulsated, alive with a malevolence that seeped into Claire's bones. She felt every heartbeat echoing in her head, a dull thrum that matched the oppressive silence around them. The warnings plastered on her phone were terrible invitations to a nightmare she had hoped to avoid. "Alex," she breathed, her voice a fragile wisp of sound. "What do we do?" Staring at the door that separated them from whatever lay outside, Alex clenched his fists. "We face it. Together." Together? Her chest tightened painfully at the thought. "But it's hunting us." "It's not just hunting," he said, urgency bleeding through his tone. "It's trying to break us apart. Find the weakness. The fear." With a heavy heart, Claire nodded, knowing they had no choice. She turned her back on the door, the sounds from beyond scratches, whispers, and that awful laughing growing more distant in her mind, replaced instead by a growing urgency to uncover the truth. "What do we know?" she asked, forcing her mind to focus. "About it?" "Only fragments," he replied, pacing. "The town has stories. It feeds on fear. The more you fight, the stronger it gets. Fighting isn't an option," she whispered, dread pooling back in her stomach. "This is a trap." "Maybe," he admitted, "but if we stay hidden, we're as good as dead. We need to uncover its secret." This basement, he paused, surveying their surroundings. "It's where it might hide everything." They swept the dim, cold room with their eyes. The flickering lights played tricks on them, casting monstrous shapes that melted and morphed into nightmares. Claire felt a shiver crawl up her spine as she caught sight of old, dusty shelves stacked with forgotten jars and boxes, their contents long hidden beneath layers of dust and mold. "I don't want to know what's in those jars," she murmured. "Neither do I," Alex said, but his voice was firm, laced with determination. "But we have to." The two moved cautiously toward the shelves, the tension almost palpable. Claire rummaged through a box marked with faded letters, her fingers trembling as they brushed against brittle papers. They were newspaper clippings, worn and frayed. Her breath hitched in her throat as she read the headlines: mystery disappearances in Ravenwood, strange sightings at the old mill, and most chilling, residents report hearing laughter in the night. This can't be real," she stammered. Alex abruptly snatched a clipping from her hand, his eyes scanning the details. It is. These stories, they're all connected. Something happened here, something evil and dark. Before they could immerse themselves further into the chilling history, a loud bang echoed from the door above, stealing their focus. Claire gasped as the sound reverberated through her, every inch of her body screaming to run. "Get down!" Alex shouted, pulling her behind a column just as the door crashed open, splintering against the wall. The air fluttered with palpable pressure, swirling with something far darker than the shadows. "No, no," Claire whimpered, her mind racing. The figure from her nightmares emerged, a silhouette at first, then taking shape, formless shadows molding into something twisted and wrong. Its eyes glinted with malice, and its laughter, that terrible laugh, echoed like thunder around them, rattling her very soul. "You can't escape me," it taunted, each word dripping with distinct malice. Claire's heart sank further than ever before, panic surging through her veins. There were no words left to say, no actions left to take. The darkness whispered promises of despair, yet a fire ignited in her, a desperate spark ignited by sheer survival. "Alex!" She choked out, meeting his eyes, desperation turning into a raw clarity. "What if we confront it? What if we refuse to be afraid?" Just as the figure took a step toward them, poised to close the distance, a flicker of hope sparked within her. Maybe, just maybe, they could reclaim their power. But was that truly possible, or was it another illusion spun by the lurking horror? Chills ran down her spine as she prepared for a confrontation that felt more like a plunge into the unknown. It was now or never. Could they harness their fear and turn it against the darkness, or were they doomed to be swallowed whole by the very shadow that haunted their every step? The air thickened with uncertainty, and the echo of laughter told her all she needed to know. What sacrifice would they have to make to survive this onslaught of terror? As Claire's heart raced, the horrid figure loomed closer, its grotesque features twisting and morphing in the flickering light. The laughter echoed like a dreadful chorus, wrapping around them, seeking to ensnare their minds. Every cell in her body screamed to flee, but the thought of surrendering to this evil sent a jolt through her. "Alex, don't look away," she managed to shout, her voice trembling yet fierce. "We can't let it see our fear." He nodded, his expression grim but determined. They had to stand their ground, to fight back against this malevolence that threatened to engulf them. Claire took a deep breath, steeling herself. "Hey," she yelled, projecting her voice as defiantly as she could. "You think you can scare us? You're just a shadow." The figure hesitated, its laughter wavering for the briefest moment, surprise flickering in its wicked eyes. Claire noticed that it recoiled slightly, like a child caught off guard. Perhaps the darkness was susceptible, just like them. "Remember what you said, Claire," Alex urged, urgency crackling in the air. "We have to confront it." As if sensing their newfound resolve, the figure surged forward, twisting and swirling. Claire's vision blurred as black tendrils shot out from it, reaching for them with terrifying speed. Adrenaline flooded her senses, but she refused to cower. "What do you want from us?" she cried, fear slipping quietly into fury. "You think we're afraid? You're wrong." With those words, a wave of defiance surged within her. She felt the shadows recoil, a pulse of energy rooting her to the ground. Alex stood beside her, ready to face whatever came next. Their hearts beat in sync, a rhythm of resistance. The shadow paused, its laughter turning murderous, then morphed into a sinister grin. "Fear is a feast, my dear. But if you truly wish to confront me, let us see how deep your courage runs." Just like that, the room started to spiral around them, the boxes of dust and forgotten jars blurring into haunting shapes. Claire felt her stomach twist as the basement expanded and twisted, turning into an infinite void full of swirling darkness. "What is happening?" she shouted, clutching at the emptiness before her, afraid to lose herself to it. "This is a trick," Alex yelled back, determination flashing in his eyes. "Don't let it consume you." The emptiness pulsed, and suddenly they stood in a different setting, the remains of an old house, the very attic she remembered from her childhood nightmares. Dust floated like memories, and a cold draft whispered secrets from the forgotten corners. "What are you doing to us?" Claire screamed into the void, desperately searching for anything solid to hold onto. The figure appeared, now towering over them, its voice a disembodied echo. "This is where the story began, Claire. Feel the fear of those who lost themselves here. Become one with it or perish." Memory washed over Claire like ice water. The tales of her childhood echoed in her mind, friends who disappeared in Ravenwood, dark shadows lurking in the woods, the legends of things that watched in the dark. Suddenly, it all clicked. This was no mere monster, it was the manifestation of every fear she had ever known. Taking a step forward, she spoke with all the strength she could muster. "No. You don't own my fear. I have the power to change my story." The eye of the figure narrowed menacingly, but Claire felt the air shift, filled with the raw essence of determination. Inside her, clarity surged. Her fear could be a weapon if she wielded it correctly. "Join me, Alex," she called out, reaching for him. "Together, we can break this curse." The figure writhed in fury, its laughter blending into cackles of rage. "How naive. You think you can escape your past? Face the truth, lose yourself in despair." As the chaos raged around them and shadows crept closer, Claire's mind raced. In the midst of the swirling madness, she spotted something glimmering at the edge of her vision, a shimmering truth hidden within her own memories. Could it be the key to reclaiming their narrative? But what would it demand from them? What part of their past would they have to confront to reveal the light and confront the darkness? The challenge hung heavy in the air, a crossroads where either fight or flight could seal their fates. Would they delve into the depths of their past and pull the truth to the surface, or would they risk losing everything? The darkness crept closer, and Claire's next move could mean life or death. What dark memories would rise from the depths to haunt them next? The shadows tightened around Claire and Alex, wrapping their limbs in a suffocating grip. The ominous figure before them pulsated, its grotesque shape writhing like a living nightmare. Claire could feel Alex's presence beside her, solid and strong, and it gave her a flicker of warmth in the chilling atmosphere. "Remember the stories, Claire," Alex shouted through the growing confusion. "They didn't just vanish. Each one of them holds a truth we need to uncover." With every word, Claire felt that glimmer of hope ignite into a flame. She recalled the myth of Ravenwood, the lost children, the whispers in the night, the fear that paralyzed an entire town. They had all encountered the darkness but had done nothing to confront it. "Let us face it together," Claire said, her voice resolute. "Let us find their truth and ours." Gathering whatever courage she could muster, she focused on the memories, letting them wash over her. Each image flickered in her mind like a film reel, whispered fears shared with friends, the energy of laughter transformed into sobs, the abandoned attic her childhood sanctuary and prison. Suddenly, she saw it, a moment when she had been too afraid to speak up, too consumed by the terror of being alone. The attic door had creaked open that fateful night, revealing shadows that whispered her name, taunting her with secrets she was too scared to explore. "Shadows can't take what you want to give them," Claire shouted defiantly at the writhing figure. She reached back into her memory, feeling for the strength that had once eluded her. Light flickered around her, sparking from the truth she chose to embrace. "I will not allow my fear to define me." The figure halted, its grin sharpening into a snarl. "This is just the beginning. You think you're brave enough to handle the truth? I'll show you despair you never dreamed of." With a wave of its hand, the darkness surged. Claire felt cold tendrils trying to weave into her very essence, grasping for her heart, her joy. But with Alex at her side, she sliced through the tendrils with newfound resolve. "No!" she screamed. "We're living. Not lost." As she reclaimed her power, shadows erupted from her past, memories of laughter amidst the fear, faces of long-lost friends who stood by her side. Each spark of warmth pushed against the darkness, forcing it to retreat. "Let us bring them back," Alex urged. "These shadows hold their stories too." Together they conjured the combined memories: laughter, secrets, pain, hope. The shadows shrieked, caught between the light and dark, desperate to consume the warmth that now flooded the space. But the figure only grew more furious, its eyes coal-black with fury. "You think light wins against the darkness? You've barely scratched the surface." Claire and Alex exchanged glances, steeling themselves for the final fight. The truth was right there, glowing like a beacon ahead of them. Just as they were ready to plunge into the depth of darkness, the room shook violently, twisting again. The attic absorbed them, leaving them disoriented as the walls blurred into a swirling chaos. What lay beyond the next shadow was unknown, but Claire felt a whisper tugging at the edges of her mind. "Face our childhood fears, Claire. They're the key to breaking this." As the echoes of their past rang louder, Claire's heart thudded in her chest. Dread tinged her thoughts, but her resolve hardened. Could they pull forth the light needed to confront those fears? Or would the depths of their own minds swallow them whole? An icy laugh danced in the air, a warning that sent chills down her spine. This wasn't just about them anymore. The shadows were waiting on the brink for Claire's next move, and she had to make it count. What truths from their childhood would unleash the power to either save or destroy them? Would they have the courage to confront those terrified reflections in the dark? The room continued to swirl, a tempest of shadows, memories, and dread. Claire squeezed her eyes shut, her heart racing as the icy laugh echoed in her mind. It was all too real now. She could feel the weight of their childhood fears pressing upon her, heavy, suffocating, clawing at her sanity. "Claire." Alex's voice cut through the chaos like a lifeline. "Focus. Think about what truly scared us back then. It's the only way." She gritted her teeth, pulling fragments of that fearful past into sharper focus. The flicker of a shadow, the darkness behind the attic door, and the unnerving sensation of being watched, always watched. Memories of childhood sleepovers turned to nightmares filled her thoughts. "Remember the story about the Shadow Man?" She blurted out, trying to banish the doubt creeping into her mind. "The one who would appear at night and whisper our names?" "Yeah. That's it," Alex shouted, his face tense but determined. "He was our greatest fear. But he's just a myth, Claire. He has no power unless we give it to him." The swirling darkness began to ripple as Claire took a step forward. "Then let us break this myth. We have to confront him together." Taking a deep breath, she steadied herself and drew upon the warmth of the shared memories. Each laugh, each tear boiled up, lighting her from within. She could almost see the Shadow Man looming larger, his shape taking form, tall and thin, with elongated fingers that stretched toward her, beckoning her into the dark. At that moment, the attic door appeared before them, aglow with an ethereal light that pulsed in rhythm with her heart. It stood half ajar, the unknown lurking just beyond the threshold. "This is it," she shouted, summoning the remnants of her courage. "We're going in." With Alex by her side, they pushed the door open, revealing a room steeped in shadow but illuminated by a faint blue glow. Memories floated like wisps of smoke, fragments of laughter and tears, echoing between the walls. But there, crouching in the corner, was the Shadow Man. His form was grotesque, eyes gleaming like dying stars. "You think your forgotten truths will save you?" he hissed, voice low and dripping with malice. "They only feed the darkness." As Claire's heart raced, an image burst into her mind, her first night alone in the attic, too petrified to move as the weight of dread enveloped her. Tears had streamed down her face, and she felt utterly powerless. "Why did I let fear win?" Claire murmured, realization striking her like lightning. "Because we were children," Alex replied gently, his voice soothing. "But now, we can change that. We're not powerless anymore." The Shadow Man laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the room. You're nothing but children pretending to be brave. But I thrive on fear. You can't escape me. Maybe, Claire said, each word tested by anxiety but steady. But fear isn't what it used to be. We choose our narrative now. We confront you, all of you. A surge of light exploded from within her, a ball of warmth fueled by every laugh, every shared secret with Alex and the memories of others who had suffered. The laughter echoed around the room, filling it until it resonated with that inner light. The Shadow Man's sneer faltered. What have you done? We've chosen to remember. Claire and Alex shouted in unison. The shadow shrieked, pulled taut like the strings of a bow, stretching against the burgeoning light. Would it be enough to crack the darkness? But as the overwhelming glow pushed forward, the ground shifted beneath them, and Claire felt her world spin away again. Just as they felt unmoored by another shift, words came spiraling from the walls, dark whispers mixed with old laughter. Unravel the final truth, Claire, or forever remain lost in the dark. What final truth awaited them, hidden within the chaos? And would they have the strength to unravel it before the shadows reclaimed their power? The floor trembled, sending a chill coursing through Claire. Each thud echoed like the heartbeat of the house, a rhythm of despair pulsing through the darkness. She felt Alex's hand tighten around hers, the warmth a stark contrast to the cold seeping from the corners of the room. Claire, look. Alex pointed, his voice sharp with urgency. The walls vibrated, revealing images, each one a twisted reflection of laughter, joy, and innocence consumed by fear. A birthday party. A sleepover. The attic door standing eerily ajar. Dark figures lurked in the background of each frame, hidden yet always watching. Why are they haunting us like this? Claire asked, her voice trembling, overlaying memories with a fresh blanket of fear. They're not just haunting us. They're showing us what we must face, Alex replied, his brow furrowed in thought. The truth that Shadow Man didn't just stalk us then. He's fed from our fears. He knows our secrets. As if summoned by their revelation, the Shadow Man writhed, his form shifting and twisting, like smoke caught in a windstorm. Ah, yes, he rasped, a sinister smile plastered on his face. You think by remembering, you can reclaim your power? But I am your power. You created me. Claire's heart raced. The words echoed in her mind. Created me, they whispered, forming a mantra that droned like a siren. Had they really given him strength? No, you're wrong. She shot back, determination coursing through her. We're not afraid of you anymore. You're just a memory, a fragment of our childhood, a myth. The laughter around them crescendoed, a wave crashing against dark shores. Claire turned to Alex, who nodded, his eyes fierce. You might have fed off our fear, but those days are done. We're not children anymore. In a burst of emotion, Claire felt the memories of others rush in, faces of friends they'd lost touch with, nights spent huddled together in laughter, and the warmth of shared dreams. The blue glow intensified, pushing against the deep shadows, illuminating the edges of the room. The Shadow Man recoiled, eyes widening as the light threatened to engulf him. You think your shared memories can undo me? They only serve to remind you of your weakness. Weakness? Claire shot back, her voice growing stronger. No. They remind us of the bond we have. Each laughter, each moment has made us stronger. With every act of defiance, the Shadow Man shrank, his form flickering like a dying flame. Yet, doubt draped over Claire like a shroud. But what is the final truth? The laughter from the walls turned conspiratorial, an echoing chorus that slowed to a near whisper. The truth is the key to the darkness, Claire. Only the unexposed and unattended fears remain. Unattended fears, Claire murmured, gripping Alex's hand tighter. Then, the illuminating light abruptly shifted, revealing a closet in the corner that had been overlooked until now. Its door, splintered and ajar, seemed to breathe quietly, releasing a cold gust that carried a familiarity she detested. Do we have to open it? Alex's voice wavered, eyes widening with fear. We can't ignore it. It's part of our past, Claire asserted, steeling herself despite the knot in her stomach. The shadow man slinked closer, his features now sharp and defined. Yes, open it and discover what lies inside. The deepest secrets, the fears you've buried so deep with each word. The weight of the night settled heavier upon them, a palpable pressure squeezing the air from the room. Alex's voice was uneasy, uncertainty gnawing at him. Are we ready for this? Standing tall, she took a step toward the closet, heart racing with every breath. The whispers crescendoed, urging her forward, a macabre melody inviting her to uncover the truth. Together, Claire declared, a hint of steel in her voice. They had come too far to turn back. They grasped the door, feeling its age beneath their palms, the chill wicking into their skin. Can they support one another against the echoes of the past? Or will this final confrontation seal their fates, lost forever in the recesses of their memories? With a surge of determination, Claire pushed the closet door wider. The hinges creaked, a cacophony mingling with the whispers swirling around like angry wasps. Inside lay a world of shadows and forgotten memories, dust motes dancing in the faint light. It felt alive, breathing, and Claire could almost hear the heartbeat of the fears she had buried deep within. What's in there? Alex's voice trembled, mirroring the uncertainty in Claire's heart. Whatever it is, we have to confront it. It's been waiting for us, she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. The air thickened with palpable dread, and Claire took a step forward, heart pounding as adrenaline surged. As Claire reached into the closet, a chill seeped from the darkness that swallowed her hand. She fumbled, her fingers brushing against something soft yet cold, a worn teddy bear, familiar and unsettling. It was a relic from her past, a childhood companion that had brought her comfort through countless nights filled with terror. This, Claire breathed, her voice hitching. This was mine. I thought I lost it. The bear's eyes sparkled with unspent tears, as if it recalled forgotten fears, memories of nights filled with shadows lurking just beyond her bedroom door. It reminds me of when I felt safe. But it's just a toy, Alex said, but the urgency in his tone sharpened. What does it really mean? It means we haven't faced the fear of feeling vulnerable, Claire murmured, clutching the teddy bear to her chest. Suddenly, childhood memories flooded back, moments when shadows had felt like monsters, when whispers loomed larger than life itself. Every time I hid away, every scream that never escaped my lips, I allowed the fear to cocoon me in its darkness. With newfound resolve, she continued to rummage through the closet, dragging out items from the shadows, a diary with its lock broken, pages yellowed with time, each entry soaked in dread. Words tumbled around them, cries for help etched in ink that had grown faint with neglect. Look! Alex pointed toward a faded photograph. Claire examined it closely, fingers trembling. There they were, friends from her childhood, faces bright and filled with laughter, standing next to the old tree they used to climb. We were happy, Claire whispered, heartache creeping in. But where are they now? Fear stole them, Claire. It drove them away, kept you from remembering what mattered, Alex said firmly, eyes meeting hers with understanding. You have to reclaim those memories, embrace them. Suddenly, the shadow man twisted in the corner, dark tendrils growing longer. You think memories make you strong? They only remind you of your weakness. His laughter echoed, taunting, blending eerily with the forgotten laughter of her friends. No! Claire shouted, holding the bear tightly, the weight of her past suddenly feeling lighter. I can change the story. I'm not held captive by you anymore. Summoning every ounce of courage, Claire stepped in front of Alex, drawing strength from the presence beside her. We are our memories. They shape us but do not define us. Not anymore. With powerful intent, Claire opened the diary, words spilling out like sunlight breaking through clouds. Each memory she read ignited warmth within her, each one felt significant and freeing. We were explorers of childhood fears, not prisoners. We are brave. Together. Exactly. Let it define us. Alex shouted, stepping forward, a fierce spark in his eyes. As they spoke, light erupted from Claire's chest, illuminating the shadows around them. The darkness howled, retreating, recoiling against the brightness that burst forth. Claire and Alex held hands tightly. Darkness doesn't stand a chance against the truth. We reclaim our power because we no longer fear. The Shadow Man shrieked, and the whirlwind of memories twirled within the room, drowning him in a haze of light. Claire's voice rang through the darkness, amplifying like a rallying cry. You're nothing but a fragment of our past, an embodiment of fears we've conquered. With one final push, the shadows crumbled, the air trembling as they embraced. The fiery glow of connection and strength. Embrace the light, let our courage shine. Then, with a thunderous explosion of sound, the weight of fear shattered, sending rippling waves of warmth cascading through the air. The darkness dissolved a flood of laughter, memories of her friends, the joyful moments she cherished. Together, they stood unapologetically, radiating the essence of every step they had taken to confront their fears. With burdens lifted, Claire and Alex felt free, truly free. She glanced over at Alex, who smiled wide, pride glowing in his eyes, and as the final remnants of the shadow vanished into nothingness, Claire knew this was her new beginning. The strength she had rediscovered would guide her forward, for she was not just a survivor, she was a warrior. As dawn broke over Ravenwood, illuminating the empty street in shades of gold, Claire stepped into the light, leaving behind the shadows forever. But remember this moment in your heart, she whispered to Alex, never let fear keep its hold on you again. Never again, he echoed, and they walked side by side toward an uncertain but hopeful future, together unfazed and unbroken. Now, how about you? You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this thrilling conclusion. And don't wait even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support makes all the difference.